Welcome to Hope Academy. My name is Mr. O, and today I'm going to be going over the SAT Math Level 2, specifically like the subject test, from the CrackSAT.net website. This is specifically number 7 through 9. And so when I do these problems, as usual, I go through them real quick, and then I explain in depth how to do the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So for number 7, all the following can be intersection for Q and plex. Okay. Number 7, my final answer is E. And now I'm going to go ahead and explain to you how I was able to get to the answer. So the idea behind this is that if I take a cube and I imagine as if there's a cube right here and there's a random plane, like a straight 2D plane that cuts through this in whatever angle possible, I'm trying to imagine what shapes could come out of this and then see which one does not make sense. So amongst all of these, I knew right off rectangle obviously would come out. If I cut it in a diagonal direction, rectangle will come out. A line segment would come out if I literally cut it on the side right here at this point, just chopping that spot right here with a plane. Thus, I knew line segment wouldn't be an issue. A point will be literally if the plane barely touches one vertex right here of the cube, and thus I knew that was not going to be the case. When it comes to specifically a triangle, I don't know 100% when that would happen. I would assume that it would be when I cut one of these corners inside it a little deeper, and that's where the triangle will come out. For a circle, it's practically impossible for us to create a circle just because there needs to be some sort of curvature that exists. And since I knew right off there's no curvature that exists in a cube, no matter what way we cut it with a plane, that's why I knew the final answer will be E for this question. And so now I'm going to go ahead and continue to number 8. So for number 8. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my calculator and go ahead and start this. Okay. Okay, for number 8, my final answer is B. And now I'm going to go ahead and explain to you how I was able to get to this answer. So for number 8, this is a concept called the composition of functions. Okay, composition of functions. And how a composition of functions basically works is the idea that I use different parts of a function, or certain times I use a function in order to help me get to the answer. And so for this question, I'm going to go ahead and copy down the questions and do it on a separate piece of paper. So for number 8, it says f of x equals to, and I'm only focusing on the key words or key things they provide me as facts on this question. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So they do that, f g of 2.3. Okay. And how composition of function works is that first I take care of whatever's inside the function. And so inside this function right now is a g of 2.3. That's my focus. Before I could take care of this f function, I have to take care of the g function first, so in order to get whatever value comes out of this g function. So g of 2.3. So I'm going to take this equation, create 2.3 equals to half of your 2.3, technically it's to the half power or square root, whichever one you want to do, plus 1. And so that's what I exactly did on the calculator, because there's no other way to do that unless you have a calculator for this question. So I just literally typed square root of 2.3 times 0.5, because half is the same thing as 0.5 plus 1, and this is the value I get. And so going to the next step, so this was step 1, going down to now step 2, is the fact that now I have f of 1.758. Okay, I'm just rounding off a little bit, which is fine. And so now that I'm done with this first step, the next step I need to do is to take care of this f of 1.758. And so I'm going to take this equation of f and make it f of 1.758 equals to the cubic root of 1.758. And on the calculator, in order to type this, because this is not an easy function to type, there's no button per se that exists for this, you're going to put parentheses 1.758, and then I'm going to put it to the power of 1 divided by 3, like this. And so I got 1.2069, and so rounding off that, it will be 1.2, thus how I got B for number 8. And to continue on to number 9. So number 9, mod, so it's the remainder, okay. Okay. this will be 0. Okay, 61 divided by 8, 9, 8, 56. That'll be 5. 5 minus 5. Okay, for number 9, my final answer is D. And now I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get to this answer. So for number 9, I'm not exactly sure the name per se behind this concept. It's more sort of like a substitution. I guess the best way to name this is sort of like a substitution method in a sense. So what the question states is that 7x mod y. So a lot of students might get fixated by that word mod and be able, assume that that's a function they didn't know and whatever. Not really. A lot of times they'll sometimes put like x triangle y, sometimes they'll put like x square y. It could be a lot of different symbols. It is not a function. The idea behind it is that it's sort of like a placeholder for a type of function that doesn't really exist in math, and you need to work with what the parameters are set for that. And so because x mod y is the remainder when x is divided by y, I knew right off I needed to divide these values, find what the remainder would be, and use that remainder. So that's why when I did 61 mod 7, I divided 61 divided by 7, and I used just personally, this is the long division method I used. You could use synthetic division if needed, and I have videos in my channel under the math lessons if you need to review this concept. But the idea is that when you divide it, and I got 8, but I had a remainder of 5. Thus, this value right here, 61 mod 7, will equal to 5. But when I divide 5 divided by 5, the remainder will be 0. Yes, 5 divided by 5 is 1, but it will have a remainder of 0 since it's even to each other. So I did 5 minus 0, which will equal to 5, and thus how I was able to get to the answer of D. And that concludes my explanation for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter so that we can continue to make content like this. I hope you have a wonderful day.